Good morning. My name is Ray with Team S.T.E.A.M. This morning I'm here at Flash Industrial Painting. We've got no painting going on first thing this morning. I'm still working on this Bronco, getting it ready for snow season. So here's the transmission filter. Here's what an automatic transmission filter, there's a lot of them out there, but here's what one of them looks like. And you have to pull the pan to get to it. That's what the pan looks like. And that's the pan gasket. And the whole pan comes off at once, and there's no drain plug on almost any of them ever built. You have to pull the whole pan. And that's how it got in my hair, is because you get towards the end of the bolts and it might come all loose at once, or you might get all the bolts out and have to start prying on it, or anything in between. And I still had 3 bolts left, and a corner came loose and a little stream of it came down on my head. Here's the new filter and the new gasket, which I'll place. And then we'll put this guy back together. All right, now the pan's all cleaned up, inside and out. These are magnets. They come loose. They're in almost every automatic transmission, and they're meant to gather up any shavings or anything like that, and keep them from ever circulating. They're kind of like a filter. You got to take them all the way out and clean them up too, and then put everything back. And got everything cleaned up. Got the gasket ready. Got the filter already in place. I'm ready to do this, girl. Now I got all that together. Now I'm going to go ahead and drain the cooling system so I can replace the heater core. The heater core is like a miniature radiator, generally located under the dash somewhere, but it could be on this side of the firewall. I haven't found this one because I haven't looked for it yet. It's probably on the other side of the dash, or on the other side of the firewall inside the vehicle. But it's like a miniature radiator, and that's what the air blows through to get the hot air in the vehicle from your heater. This radiator cools the vehicle, and that coolant also goes through that miniature radiator, and the air that blows through that miniature radiator is the hot air that comes into your vehicle. So that's the heater core. That's what the problem is. It's plugged. They get that way if they get enough miles on them or enough time on them. And I'm going to take it out and swap it out and replace all the coolant in the entire system. So anyway, the heater core on most of these models is going to be right here. It's usually just underneath the dash, just underneath the passenger side of the dash, and it's usually right in this area. And if I take this cover off, it would not surprise me if the heater core is right behind it. And this information I didn't look up because I've changed more than a few heater cores in my day, and they're almost always right here, even in cars. So if your vehicle isn't blowing warm air out of the heater in the wintertime, or warm enough, or as warm as it used to be, it is either that your antifreeze is low, the level's low, or that your heater core has eventually become plugged, because it looks just like a radiator, and I'll show you what I mean. But this right here is a heater core. See where your 2 little antifreeze lines plug in? And they look about like this on all vehicles. On almost all vehicles, they look about like this, just like a radiator. See how you can see through it? And so antifreeze runs through it, runs through here, drips down all these, or drips down all these, and this whole area gets good and warm. And then a fan is blowing through it when you kick the fan on. And so what comes out this other side is warm air. And it is effectively another radiator. But those little things get plugged up over time. They get sludged up. And you can use things to clean them out that work part of the time. I've done it a few times in my life with very mixed results. A lot of times I just like to change the heater core and be done with it. You'll spend less time changing this heater core than you will flushing the whole system most times. And flushing the system seems to work only about 20% of the time. So drain all your fluid out, leave it out, replace it with good, fresh, new fluid, and replace your heater core, and you're probably done. And that's the way I do it. Okay, so it's been about 10-15 minutes, and I've been digging away at this dash here, and I'll show you exactly what I was talking about with that location of that heater core. And see? There's that little radiator I was talking about. Right there behind it. Now I gotta work on getting it out of there. And now we've unhooked our 2 fluid lines. These are always full of antifreeze. They get pumped straight from the radiator, nice and hot, straight through these 2 lines. That's what charges up that heater core and makes it hot. But just in case it matters which one's which, I went ahead and marked one of them. That's the one that goes on the left. Just in case. Pulled them loose. Those are the 2 inlets right here. for that heater core. That's these guys. And there it is. Everything's put back where it needs to be. Managed to skin a knuckle, so that's important. It's basically imperative. Now all I have to do here is reconnect my two lines to those and fill everything up with fluid. And then we should be on to the next phase. Now, when it comes to antifreeze, I'm not recommending a brand. I'm recommending a type. What you want to try and look for is something that is multi-vehicle. And if you can find your vehicle on the information, that's better. But what you want to find is one that's basically guaranteed for all vehicles. If you can find that, that's what you want. That way you don't have to mess around between if you own more than one vehicle. If you only own one vehicle, get the antifreeze that goes to your vehicle. But if you own more than one, get the multi-vehicle antifreeze. And if you want to save convenience, pay the $9 and get it pre-mixed. It's ready to go. You just pour it in the vehicle. But if you want to save money and convenience isn't so much an issue, pay only $3 more than that for $12 and get the concentrate, because this makes 2 gallons. So now you're at $6 a gallon instead of 9. It's half again more in savings. So if you're looking to save a little money and inconvenience, or convenience isn't such a big issue, you know, so when you get done draining this one into this vehicle, for instance, wait here in just a minute, when I get done draining this one, I'm going to use this empty jug and put this new one halfway into it. And then you'll use this line up the side to let you know when you've dumped half of this one out into this one, and then fill them both up with water. Now I have 2 more gallons for 6 gallons, or for $6 a piece. So it's a better value to do it this way. It's more convenient to do it the other way. All right, so all the maintenance is done. I've already test drove it. Everything works really well. All my fluid levels are where they need to be. So I think I'm done with that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and sandblast and paint this plow. The reason is because it's not in good shape really at all. I'll show you what I mean. And as you can see, somebody had painted this one at one point in time, but never prepped it, and the paint is just falling off. And then this over here, this whole push bar is just in original shape. So it's just due for paint. And then we've got some spots that are rusting, just some things that need it. And then the front doesn't look very good either. And I got a little bit of spare time, you know, why not? Heck, the crew's not going to be back for an extra day or two. They went to a different town and had a little bit of a vehicle breakdown and cost them a day or two. So I have a little bit of extra time on my hands, and I've been threatening to paint this plow ever since I got this truck. And that's basically the last thing that it needs before it's completely ready for winter. So I'm going to pull it outside, go ahead and sandblast it, and get it back in and get one of the 2 colors shot today.